Hey everybody, welcome to the Have You Ever Played podcast, the only podcast where both the hosts turn into an elephant at the end. It's
Oh
me,
God.
Matt Fondude, and I'm here with my co-host.
Yes, I'm James, aka James04E,
And
aka James the Elephant.
yeah, we are referencing the Super Mario Brothers Wonder trailer, a trailer I just made James watch prior to starting the podcast because I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the announcements from the Nintendo Direct. We're a little late on the June announcements, but we can kind of talk about them briefly. I know you didn't watch. I assume you didn't watch the rest of the direct if you didn't see the Mario
Yeah, no,
thing.
I did not. I missed out.
Yeah, I skipped through it very frequent. I
Damn.
did a skim. Well, it's because this year is the year of cozy games, cozy farming games. It's just every game is a cozy farming game, and there's just so much of that. I was just like, all right, just show me the headlines of these games. And headlines we did see headlines such as Persona 5 Tactica. It's a tactics Persona 5 game with like
Okay.
cutesy art style. I don't really like tactics games, but I like Persona. It's like it looks like the Persona Q of this generation. Not in terms of gameplay. That was like an Etrian Odyssey Pokemon Mystery Dungeon type game. But in terms of graphics and whatnot. Um, Also, Super Mario RPG is getting a remake and looks actually really good. And
Okay.
some other
These.
games, yeah, for the new Detective Pikachu. Did you ever care about Detective Pikachu at all?
Um, I actually remember. I think I had Detective Pikachu. Like I
Okay.
think I bought it, and then I'm pretty sure I just never played it.
I don't understand how one can have to think you may have had a game such as Detective Pikachu because it's pretty distinct. Be kind of hard to forget. I feel like talking sleuth Pikachu.
Like I feel like I remember buying it, and I just never played it.
Mm. I remember everyone liked the movie. It was kind
Yeah,
of like the proto Sonic movie in a way. It's kind of the same vibe.
Sonic movie before
Um,
it was cool.
yeah, I don't really care about that series at all, but it's neat that there's more. Oh, there's also an untitled, unannounced Princess Peach game coming out. Which, if you've ever played the DS Princess Peach game, that game was weird, and this game looks like it's also going to be weird.
I heckin' love weird Nintendo games.
Yeah, the Princess Peach game, like you used your emotions to as powers or whatever. You could just like cry and like be angry. It was a weird choice. It
Hmm.
was I don't know. It's definitely a game. It's just very
Man.
strange. And I'll just brush through some of these other ones very quickly. There's a new Dragon Quest Monsters game. That's a series like any Dragon Quest game that has like the monster spin-off people seem to like.
Hmm.
I didn't really get into them, but maybe this is the time. Pikmin 4 looks good, and yeah, other news. Oh yeah, they're making a WarioWare game that's like traditional style, almost like it looks like a sequel to like the Wii one, like Smooth Moves, which is awesome. I'm surprised we're getting two WarioWare games on the
Hmm.
Switch. I love the WarioWare series, so I'll probably enjoy that. Um, and the rest is who cares? If you
The
didn't watch
rest
it,
is
we
the
don't.
rest.
The rest is the rest. You'll play it or you won't.
Yep.
And speaking of playing video games, James, have you been playing any video games this week?
Yes, I've been playing a few of the video games. Um, so I had my whole Diablo 4 phase.
Yep.
Uh, Finished the story and all that. Got to like level, nearly level 70. I'm not quite there yet. Um, but yeah, I think it was pretty good. Story got a lot better towards the end. Cinematics were cool, though I wish there were a little more of them. There's only like, I think there's like two like big cinematics in the game. Like I think I was looking at all the cinematics from the Diablo franchise, and I think Diablo 4 has the least. Which is a little sad, but they were really cool, so it's fine. Um, and then for the end game. I think the end game's actually pretty good, like as far as content goes. There's there's the nightmare dungeons, which are basically just existing dungeons with upgraded mobs and various modifiers on them. There's Helltide, which basically an entire area of the map gets taken over by basically like hell bleeds over into it, and there's lots of demons that drop these uh what would you call them? These like collectibles that or this currency that you can use to open chests that are in random areas around the Helltide zone, and the chests will give you really high tier loot. And then there's also, without spoiling, there's like a tree that you can do some favors for, and if you do favors, like every time you do some favors around the map, you can go back and claim some good loot from them. And then there's obviously the world bosses and the legions and things like that. So there's definitely plenty to do. Uh, the main problem that I've noticed though is that the build diversity is definitely hurts the end game experience a little bit. Where I was playing barbarian, and I was doing a whirlwind build, and it's like it was fun at first, but I can only spin around for so long
Yeah,
before it gets a little boring.
I'm feeling that, and I'm only like level 50 or something. And
Hmm.
but I'm doing necromancer, so I'm doing summons too as my build. So it's like I've summoned. I can only literally hold the R button down or whatever, like one button to summon my mobs so many times. It's kind of like wow, there's really not a lot going on here. Um, but that, I mean, that's not really that's like all these kind of games or whatever, I guess, in a way. Uh, I don't know if they necessarily hold my attention that long.
Hmm.
Anyway, but apparently Diablo 4 went down. Like the servers were down for a bit. I don't know if we were playing when that happened.
They didn't go fully down. They just had to do some maintenance a few times, and the servers were kind of you get kicked off occasionally, but you were able to reconnect.
Hmm. I think people couldn't get on for like a day because everyone was
Hmm.
complaining about it, and then it kind of got me thinking about the fact that it's like an always online game, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I guess there are benefits in a way for having it always online, but like, someone pointed out when I was reading like a Reddit thread, it's like, why is the game always online besides like as like a form of like DRM and stuff like that, and just to be
Hmm.
annoying? It's like, well, if the game isn't online, how are other players going to see your cash shop outfits that you bought? And I'm like, oh
Damn.
no,
Other
that's
players
so
can't see
true.
my drip.
Yeah, how are you gonna flex your cash shop items and stuff? It's like there really is almost no reason for the game to always be online. Like it could just have a single player mode besides money and whatnot. But I don't know, whatever. It's kind of annoying. I was gaming on the Steam Deck a lot this past week because I was
Hmm.
traveling. So I had Diablo. I didn't really play too much of it, but yeah, it would have been sad to boot it up and not be able to play because I'm not connected to the internet.
Yeah. Um, there's one other thing. Oh yeah, I did hear apparently for the first season of Diablo 4, which is coming out mid to late July, they said that they're going to be doing like some huge changes, like literally 13-page patch notes.
Hmm.
So hopefully, with that there'll be a little bit more build diversity. They did a kind of small patch today just to make all of the basic skills just a little bit better and slightly buff some crap, what are they called? Oh my god, some aspects and stuff like that, so that the leveling is just a little bit smoother, and some of the poopy builds feel less poopy, but no like huge sweeping changes or anything.
I will say one of the nice things about Diablo is there probably will be an expansion later down the line or like a big update that adds like a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
So there is something to look forward to in that regard in terms of more content coming eventually. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, like I said, like I already kind of fell off. I mean, maybe I'll revisit and play more of it, but I don't know. It can't really hold my interest too long.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's cool for what it is.
Yeah. Okay, and then besides Diablo, Uh, I also got Spider-Man Miles Morales while it was on sale.
Mhm.
Played through all of that. Wasn't too long. Story was okay. It wasn't anything crazy. The characters could have been better, definitely, but it was fun. Had some cool moments. Gameplay was fantastic as expected from Insomniac Spider-Man game. Uh, yeah, got me really excited for Spider-Man 2 whenever that's gonna
Mhm.
come out on PC. Hopefully not too much longer than a year.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I'm out here waiting for Ragnarok, God of War
yeah,
Ragnarok to come to PC, and yeah, I don't know. It's probably gonna be if it's anything like God of War, the first one that was like 4 years post release. But then again, they weren't really porting games back then, so maybe we can
yeah,
hope like 2 years after release.
yeah. That's like
But
one of the few
I don't know.
things that Xbox has over PlayStation is that their games are basically on PC immediately.
Yeah. I am having a similar annoyance right now with the Kingdom Hearts series. How it's been
Hmm.
locked to Epic Games since it's launched on PC, and it's
Hmm.
still just no signs of it coming to Steam. And the prices are also ridiculous in that series. Like they're fully
Yeah.
$70 games basically. Still, even though you can buy like a PS4 copy or something like that for like $2 because no one cares. Um, I don't know. It's annoying. It's
Hmm.
mainly annoying because one, who even uses Epic Games anymore unless you have to for something? Like
Yeah.
I don't think people even talk about it. Like
People talk about it when something's free. That's what I know.
yeah, I guess like I know people are into the free stuff, but I don't know. It's not like booting up the Epic Games Store is just such a chore to like deal with.
speaking of speaking of that, I'm gonna boot it up right now and see what's free. Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh my lord. Dude, this is a mess.
I also had the misfortune of trying to install the Kingdom Hearts collection from the Epic Game Store onto my Steam Deck, which required because they're not on Steam, required
Hmm.
me to I downloaded the Epic Games launcher through Steam. Like I added it as a non-Steam game, and then I was able to use like Proton compatibility layer or whatever to download the launcher. That installed the game. Now, normally that actually would work, I guess, if you have the game installed, but it's a collection, so the launcher that launches the games didn't work. So I had to
Whoa.
install Heroic Games Launcher, which is like a third party Epic Games launcher, which honestly has more features than the actual Epic Games launcher. And that was able to install it properly, but I had to delete the two like movies that play. Like there's like a cutscene at the beginning of the game and end of the game that play, but you have to
Hmm.
delete those because they don't play for whatever reason,
Oh God.
and then make your game crash. But I got them to work, and I didn't play anything on there yet. But like they seem to work, and it's pretty good. It would just be way nicer if it was just on Steam and just
Hmm.
worked though. But
All right.
we
Let's
can't
see.
have nice things.
Yeah. Let's see what games are free on Epic Games right now. They got Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm and
Okay,
Free Hunters: The Call of the Wild, or The
that's a
Hunter:
game.
Call of the
I've seen.
Wild.
I don't know. Like I feel like the games. That's the thing. It's like their model was we're gonna pay people to put their games on our store. We're gonna give them a bigger split than Steam, which is fair enough. And we're also gonna just like pay for a bunch of basically like prepay for these copies, so the companies make their money. Like it's pretty much a sure thing.
Hmm.
They're gonna like pay all these companies, blah blah blah, get exclusivity and do all that, and like give you free games to like get you on the platform. But the platform is so bad, and it's still
Yep.
bad. Like I don't understand how it can be still so bad. And it's like John Fortnite company that makes a cajillion billion dollars. Although I don't know if it's me because I don't follow anything about Fortnite, but I feel like Fortnite has slowly been losing favor in terms of people don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, people are always gonna play it.
Well, yeah, people are playing it, but I don't think it has nearly the like cultural significance that it had at one point in time. As I go on to Twitch right now to look at categories, and then just to see where Fortnite is because I know it's literally like the number 7 category right now. But still, Fortnite.
Man, Fartnut.
Yep. Oh wait, maybe this is my recommended for you. Let me look at viewers high to low. Never mind, it is lower, but it's still on the front page. Sports. Someone's streaming sports. I don't know what that is. Oh, did you see
Let me
this?
look.
Did you happen to see this game called Only Up? By the way,
I don't think I have.
you may have seen clips of it and not known what it is. It's like one of those rage platformers, like Getting Over It
Uh,
or
yeah.
Jump King. It's like a Chinese company, I think, and it's just this weird like 3D like Unreal Engine man jumping on like cars and stuff, and then you fall off and lose all your progress. And it's like maybe I don't know if I want to be
Wait,
streamer number
this might
27
be the
playing
one
that.
this must be the one that I thought was Fortnite. I actually saw it and I'm like, wow, this is a really cool Fortnite custom game because I saw a clip of somebody falling off. Like they were
Hmm.
quite literally, I think they were 60 layers up into a run and they fell all the way back down to the ground.
Yeah, no, you can fall from literally like the ending of the game to the ground, basically. Uh,
Is
it
this
is a
game
funny
made in
haha
Unreal?
game. It looks like it's probably Unity or Unreal or something.
Let me see it on Steam.
Like I don't know. Um, I yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to download it because it seems a little sus, to be honest, in terms of apparently also there's like NFT ads or something in the game.
Hmm.
Like they're trying to sell NFTs and whatnot. But honestly, weirdly enough, it actually looks really nice in a weird way. And I kind of like those rage platformer games as like streamer games sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's a flash in the pan kind of game, you
I'm
know.
looking at the reviews. The top one is it's just one sentence. This is how your parents tell you how they got to school back in the day.
It has pretty mixed reviews otherwise though on Steam,
Yeah.
just because I think people are like, "What is this?" Um, honestly, if it was just a wholesome like rage, if it was like a Getting Over It, where it's just like rage platformer, but it's just for the sake of making a rage platformer for fun, then I think I would be more interested in it. But there seems to be some sussery and shadery going on with it that I
Mm-hmm.
don't particularly find that adorable
Yeah.
and endearing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, what have you been playing? Anything else recently?
Um, haven't played much else, but I did actually buy Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy because it was on sale for like $20.
Oh, when was that? I saw that go on sale, but did it go on sale again? Because I missed it the first
It's
time.
on sale right now. Actually, it's
Oh,
17.99.
it is.
It's on sale for 2 more days.
Oh, all right. Well, what's your review of it first before I commit
Oh,
to
I
this?
haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's a chonky game. It's like 80 gigs. So I'm kind
Yeah,
of thinking like every time I'm like I'm about to I feel like playing it's like oh I just 80 gig install.
yeah. There's the rise of the chonk in games has been pretty sad. I too, I weirdly enough, and I was gonna mention this, but I have been playing Spider-Man, the remastered, the first Spider-Man
Hmm.
Insomniac game, and I played through like a quarter of it on PS4 when it came out, but got it on PC now. And yeah, no, mechanically, the meme is true. It makes you feel like Spider-Man. Everyone says that, whatever. It
Hmm.
feels real good to play that game. Uh, good enough that it's honestly got me feeling like I want to play the Arkham games because I've never really got into those.
Yeah, those are good games.
And after watching the Harley Quinn TV show, I'm like maybe, and also some other like media where Batman. Honestly, media where Batman isn't the main character is kind of, and he's in it, kind of hits different sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Harley Quinn show, which sounds like a terrible show. In any other world, right? When you hear the title of an animated Harley Quinn show, that's like an adult cartoon, whatever. You would assume this has got to be absolute like literal garbage, trash, terrible. horrible.
Damn.
Right? At least
Damn.
that's what I assume. I assumed that. Okay, I made the assumption based on the title and the fact that that character is honestly dog water in like all the media I've seen. You know, uh, have you seen any of the show or clips from the show?
I've seen clips of it. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it's worth watching. I watched all of what's out there so far and the special.
Hmm.
I think season one was probably the strongest season of it. But it's a show where I genuinely laughed out loud multiple times through multiple episodes and actually like thought it was fun. It was funny. It tried to do like it feels like you know that show Velma that everyone hated, what it
Yeah.
was cool to hate or whatever. It feels like with that show, you know, it's kind of like a spin on that, you know, property, but
Hmm.
more with like adult humor or whatever. But it actually works and it's funny, and I would highly recommend it. Weirdly
Pog.
enough, it's kind of weird. DC honestly kind of kills it with some of their 2D animated stuff. Not so
Yep.
much with their movies though. But yeah. Have you seen any of the DC like shows or anything like that?
um, trying to think. I don't think I have. And I've watched some of their animated movies. They're usually very good.
Mhm. I always see clips from shows and I have no idea what they're if they're from movies or from a show. And I'll see something from DC and it'll look interesting. Like it'll be like some Flash thing or they'll be like, "Oh my god, that's cool," or like it'll be some there's some random Teen Titans clip and I'm like, "Oh, I should continue watching that."
Hmm.
Uh I don't know, it seems neat, but I don't know. I think DC it's growing on me more, but I used to just be like, yeah, I don't care really about these characters at all. Outside of like The Dark Knight, you know, that movie.
Hmm.
That movie that kind of stands alone from the other superhero movies. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're doing cool stuff. And
Yep.
what's his name? James Gunn, right? He's now doing all the DCU stuff now or
Yeah.
whatever. So and he just did Guardians 3, which was pretty good. So
Hmm.
maybe it'll be worth watching any of these movies at some point.
Hopefully.
Although everything is multiverse now.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard Flash was absolutely terrible. So, hopefully they can do a little 180.
Oof.
That'd be nice.
Massive oof.
Yeah, like I hear the
Um
movie was so bad that the entire movie got leaked in high quality on Twitter, and I think it's still up. This was like a few days ago.
that's rough. Um wow. We also between podcasts we saw the new Spider-Verse movie. We did I think we did a lot of stuff and then didn't talk like we I had a
Yeah.
hiatus for pod cuz I was away. Um but yeah, we saw Miles Morales Spider-Man man. I don't remember what was it? Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. It was
Into the
across.
Spider-Verse? Across. And then
It
the
was
other
across.
one's like No Way Home from the Spider-Verse. What's the actual didn't they announce the next title or something?
Beyond the
They're like
Spider Verse.
Beyond the Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's kind of hard to remember the titles, but the new Spider-Man movie. What were your thoughts on that film? It's been a little bit, but what were your thoughts?
Uh, good. I think Pog movie.
Mhm. I want to rewatch it again, but like I couldn't really see very well in the movie theater because my eyes don't work, and we didn't
Damn.
go to IMAX. So I
IMAX.
no like I was not even a joke. Like when we go to the IMAX screen, my eyes are so bad. I'm at least able to kind of see what's going on. But when I'm at the regular standard size, like and sitting midway in the theater, like everything was kind of blurry like the whole time. Uh,
Hmm.
but it looked great from what I could see, and I want to watch it again. I think it's a good two-time watch kind of film,
Yep.
and yeah, I thought it was very very neat. Apparently, the next film is already in like production, or they did some of it, and
Uh,
well, okay,
so it's
yeah.
funny that you say that because people thought the news wasn't that the film was in production. People thought the film was almost done because it's
Oh,
scheduled to come out next March. and they literally
Next
said
March?
yes, and they said, "Yeah, guys, we barely started it." And this
Oh,
movie took like 4 years.
I thought the next movie was gonna take like a year or more, or something, because they started it or did something.
Yeah, no, apparently
Uh,
they were like working to they were working until like borderline the release date of Across the Spider-Verse.
all
And
right, let's
apparently there was
get
like
into.
two versions of the movie where like some visual things are slightly changed, but nothing like
Mhm.
massive, just like little jokes and stuff like that.
Let's get into a minor spoiler of how the movie ends. So skip ahead like a couple seconds. It's literally just gonna be like a minor spoiler. So the movie ends on a cliffhanger, which is kind of insane for a movie that took 4 years to make. Uh, it's gonna be like a two-parter. What did you feel about that and how it ends?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, they announced it as a part 1 anyway, so I didn't really
See,
expect like a conclusion.
I'm okay with it too. It just bums me out that I feel like this movie series, this franchise, might have been a better watch if you could have just seen them all back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
but I think that's how most superhero stuff goes.
yeah, but this one's such a hard like sequel that it's like you're gonna have to go in and really just rewatch probably all the movies, bro. Maybe just the last one, just to like uh have context. Although now that I think about it, maybe you'll forget, but you could just literally read like a 3 paragraph summary of like where it ended off. Not a
Yeah,
whole
I mean,
lot really
I think
happened.
the story beats are memorable enough that it's fine. I mean, it's not like Avatar or something.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about it where I'm like, oh man, you get to don't forget the part where it's like, oh wait, yeah, man, a lot of cool stuff happened, but not a lot of like story intensive. You need to like, oh my god, remember this thing that happened. It's like, oh wait, yeah, this it's kind of straightforward. They did it again. They did it again. They made another one, and it's good. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy it's not just like hot garbage. Like that, it could have gone that route where it could have just been like so bad, but I think it lived up to the hype.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now that we're a movie podcast, maybe we should move on to a different topic. I mean, this podcast loosely follows video games as a structure, by the way. Uh, so we can talk about whatever. But the video game stuff is kind of the loose thread that ties this together.
Hmm.
Actually, I have a news story for you that it's going to be relevant to me
Pog.
after this stream. So Roblox. This is some Roblox news. Uh,
Roblox lore.
brought to you by Man Babies Everywhere. But Roblox has a they're having a system now where you can rate games in terms of like like a maturity rating, so like 14 plus, 15, whatever. They are adding a
Hmm.
category for 17 plus games,
Oh
for like
boy.
mature games. There's limitations. I could pull up I'm going to pull up the change log because there's
The
some
change
limitations,
log.
but it is actually kind of neat, to be honest. All right, so they're the fastest growing age group is 17 to 24-year olds who are streaming and are sad, aka me. Um yeah, so this is for me. But I'm looking at it right now. It's like, yeah, they can have more mature more mature themes like TV shows or stand-up comedy. I don't know what that means. These experiences may contain more blood, violence, crude humor, which so there are a lot of like gun like counter-strikey game. Wait a minute. Oh no. I'm looking at what you have to do to verify yourself in a second, which I'll go back down to. It's a little sus. Um,
What?
I'm
Just put in
looking at
your social
this.
security number.
You're not that far off. So you need to I guess to verify yourself, you need to upload a picture of yourself and a government issued ID. Which honestly, I kind of it's that's a lot, but like Korea and other places have been doing this already for a long time with gaming. Although again, I'm giving my like ID to Roblox Corporation, so it's a
Yeah.
little whatever. Well, I think they're owned by Disney too, but uh, so that's a little weird. I don't know how do you feel about age verification where you actually need to legitimately verify your age with your ID?
Mm, I actually don't know. I mean, I haven't had to do it for like a game or anything before.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it is a bit of a wee bit of a slippery slope, and especially when you've got a game that has stuff for multiple age groups in there, like without real separation of like a purchase or anything like that, it's pretty rough.
Well, I think it's a slippery slope, but for an example of Roblox, uh, I think I haven't really dabbled into it because I believe you could do this before. I think there is voice chat in Roblox if you do this
Hmm.
verification. I think this was already in here. I might be wrong because I literally just have not looked into it. But that aspect of it, where if you're going to be interacting with children in this game, because it's for all age groups, I do think some extra form of verification is actually kind of nice because I think it might stop some of the shenanigans, especially because they're describing some of these experiences might have romantic themes.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. Unplayable gambling. Okay, so they're allowed to show themes of gambling and alcohol, but they're not allowed to contain gambling, although 90% of the most popular games all have like loot box gambling mechanics, but uh they do have a list of things you can't show still, which I'm trying to find. Let's see. I don't know if I can see the thing. They said so it's not just, it's not just anything flies now. It's crazy mode. They're going to have like all this nudity and like hyper gore. It's just for games that are more like Call of Duty bait. Like I've seen a lot of like COD and like CS:GO type games with more realistic guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Um this is kind of interesting to me though. Although as a creator, I'm wondering how many people are actually going to use this rating knowing they're limiting themselves and not try to like cram everything into 13 plus.
Hmm.
Uh it might not get adopted as widely as possible because I believe the player base, although they are saying like the player base for people 17 to 24 or whatever is pretty like fast growing because
Yeah.
surprise surprise, one, I think it's a lot of people just streaming games. I think there's a lot of content creators who are making content.
Hmm.
I mean, I have nostalgia for the game and I make content for it, so but I don't know how many active users every day are playing it without streaming, that want to play these experiences, but it's
Yeah.
neat that they added it as an option. Little weird. I guess it's a little weird that it's a little weird that you have to use the verification with your ID and stuff like that. I get it in a way. In a way I do get it too. So
Hmm.
I think that's a tough one. That's kind of a tough one to talk about. I think some people might be like very against it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm pro or against. I think there's probably issues for on both sides. Do I trust? I think Disney owns them with my ID. It's like, well, they probably have it anyway, which is not a great argument, I guess, against it. But I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah.
That's a way more tough topic than just being like, finally, I can shoot gun in my Roblox, even though
Yeah.
you could already do that. But oh man, um, so yeah, that's the wonderful world of that news.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, I guess for games, I've been playing God of War One, the PS3 remake, a little bit on my Steam
Hmm.
Deck. Game's pretty fun. I'm not too far in. It's cool and I'm enjoying it, but clearly not as much nuance as 2016 or 2018 God of War.
Yeah.
But it's a fun game, and still playing Persona 5, and I beat We Love Katamari, which is just great. Katamari is awesome. We Love Katamari is more Katamari, and it's really good. Can't complain.
Man.
Yeah. Imagine a
But do
good
you
game,
love it?
but more good. Yes, I do love Katamari. Although I think the base soundtrack of that game is worse than the original game soundtrack. Although I have some of the soundtrack from that game with the There's kind of a weird DLC where if you bought like a for $10 more, you could buy like a deluxe version, and it came with
Mhm.
songs from the other games as to use in the soundtrack. And Katamari has great music over the series, so that's kind of like I wanted to have that because you could you could play it on YouTube or whatever, but it's kind of cool to have it in game.
Yeah.
And it was $10. I'm like, I want to support more games to come out. I like this franchise, and it's already at like a cheaper game. But if you buy it separately, it's $20, and it's kind of a ripoff. Not gonna lie, it's already kind of a ripoff for $10, but for $20, it's kind of a huge ripoff. Yeah, not great. Music DLC like that is always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, the tale as old as time when you see a Steam page and the game is like mostly positive, super positive, and then you see the DLC and it's like mostly negative, aka every Borderlands DLC,
Yeah, pretty
or
much.
yeah, games like that, or like when you see like the costume pack DLC that's like $5 or $10 and it adds like the Salt Shaker hat for Master Chief, or I don't know, just like adds like one thing. It's just like terrible reviews.
Yeah.
Oh man. Why are there so many farming games? Did you see that? Did you
Farming
notice this?
games. I
Everything
actually
is a
haven't.
farming game.
No, I
Every announcement recently has been farming cozy. This is the year of farming and cozy.
yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't noticed that.
So here's the deal, right? Stardew Valley is great.
Yeah.
Harvest Moon is great. Those
Mhm.
games are great. Everyone just realized that they're great at the same time. It's like what happened with that one year where everything was Left 4 Dead style games.
Oh
Um,
god.
It's just like, but it's also it's easier to make a farming cozy game that's like bad. It's easier
Mhm.
to make a bad one of those games and like just ship it out. So I could see why a lot of people will do it. I'm sure in this wave there are definitely some great games in that genre, but it's just so oversaturated. Everything is cozy and farming, and I'm like, just something else. I don't know how. Why does this always happen? Like, do you think everyone develops games? Maybe it's like there's a hole in the market for a game in the genre, right? Like when Left 4
Mhm.
Dead happened. There was no like cooperative shooter things. And then everyone developed at the same time, and then all announced at the same time, and that's just I guess how it happens. Cuz
Yeah.
this is a common thing that happens now at this point.
Yeah, people notice Thing isn't being made and they all think, "Hey, let's make Thing."
Mhm.
And then suddenly Thing is being made by everybody.
I think the wildest one in recent history was the two games that were both metal you're going to hell first person shooter rhythm games that both
Oh,
came out.
yeah.
It's called like Hellsinger. What is it? It's like
Yeah.
Metal something Hellsinger. And then some other bullet BPM. It's like BPM or something. Yeah, bullets per BPM bullets per minute, and then it was like Metal Hellsinger or some other. Yeah, Metal
Yeah.
Hellsinger exactly. Although apparently, I think one of those games is better than the others. I didn't play either of them. Although they both look like they have good reviews, but I don't know. Crazy though, right? Like, how do you
Wacky.
both Doom kind of inspired metal shooting rhythm games come out around the same time ish. Although I'm looking, this one came out in 2020, this one came out in 2022, so I don't know what I'm talking about, I guess. But I remember seeing trailers for both of them around the same time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. All right, my rambling. I've talked for my 99% of the podcast, so let's get into questions. All right. James, let me ask you a question, and I want you to
Okay.
get deep and sweaty on this question. I
Oh
want to
boy.
know I want to know everything about your answer. So if you have a question, you can email us at hyeppodcast@gmail.com. That is the hyeppodcast@gmail.com. And I'll read your question, or maybe James will read your question, but we'll answer
Yes.
it. So let's go to the questions. I haven't even looked at these yet, so let me crawl through these.
Crawl through
Uh,
these.
let's see. You know what? I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, that's actually kind of a. That's kind of a tough question. All right, I'll ask you this, but I don't know if you'll have an answer because it's kind of tough.
Okay.
So The question reads, I'm curious if there are any games from your childhood that you think had a really unique camera system or perspective. Really unique camera system or
Unique
perspective?
camera system perspective. Depends on if you by unique you mean shit. I mean, like, geez, there were plenty of those. Um,
Oh, you know what? I think I got one. Now that you just said shit camera, I could think of one. Uh, yeah, no, like people don't realize how important a camera in a 3D game is, and just
yeah.
how much nuance and how much weight it can affect a game, and just what goes into that.
Hmm.
We can look at like Mario 64 as one of the first examples of a 3D camera,
Yeah.
which is shockingly serviceable, even though it kind of is ass in nowadays. It's shockingly serviceable for being one of the first of its kind.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, can you think of anything off the top of your head?
um. Hmm.
It's kind of a weird one because I feel like a good camera, you
Yeah.
don't think about it. That's the thing. Like you don't. If the camera in a game is good, you like will not think about it. You only notice really bad cameras.
Um. My memory is probably incorrect for this, but there was a game called Two Human. It was like a third person what's it called? Like a third person hack and slash, I guess. But like the camera was like really far away from your player,
Hmm.
and the character did like these like really long, like very fluid, like sword movements and stuff like that. And I thought it was really cool just because lots of the lots of other similar games, either it wasn't the same type of third person perspective, like you weren't looking from your character's back, or they were really close,
Hmm.
at least relative to it. Like this was almost like it was almost a MOBA camera, actually.
Hmm. Yeah, that is kind of weird. That is a. It was an action game too,
Yeah, it
with
was an
like a
action game.
over.
It was like single player slash co op,
Huh.
so PVE.
That's kind of
Yeah, it was
cool.
like
Like,
a. I guess the idea was like it was futuristic fantasy, so there were like dark elves and stuff like that, but you had like these futuristic like suits of armor, and there were guns. Like you could use guns and melee, and it was like vaguely inspired by Norse mythology with like lots of the names and like stuff like that, like the weapon names and like area names. I think he went to Helheim at some point. Yeah, I don't
I'll
know.
t-
It was a
I'll
crazy game.
I'll take it. There's no Two Human Two.
No, unfortunately. And
Too
let me
Human
look it up.
to
I'm pretty
Live.
sure the game got really bad reviews, and
Yeah, I
was
think I've
never made
heard
another
of
one.
this. Too Human. Is it
Yeah,
like
so it was an
T O
Xbox
O
360.
Human?
Yeah, TOO. So it was an Xbox 360 exclusive. Apparently, it received mixed reviews.
What a
Involved with a
name.
lawsuit because apparently they used Unreal Engine without permission.
That's a tough one. Yeah, if you just use your game engine to like pirate it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
that's
I
not
got like
great.
6 and 7s out of 10. It was like okay.
Can we talk about how older games invert camera sometimes? And
Oh man.
sometimes a game, like an older game, will invert their camera, and then I won't even like I'll forget what I actually want. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes in a game, you expect the camera to go a certain way, then it's inverted, and then you try to invert the controls, and you kind of forget, like, wait, was this the way I like it, or is it not? It's kind of weird. Like with third person camera, it's like, do I press left to look left, or like what do I like? And then I
Hmm.
get all it's really like older games. I don't know what they were smoking with these inverted cameras, except for like pilot games. Like who thought that was the way to go?
Oh, okay.
I,
I'm reading back up on this game. Apparently, it was very Norse. Like it was like like the Norse gods are cybernetically enhanced humans in the future. You play as Baldur, and you're like fighting Loki's army of
oh
machines.
wow, that actually
Apparently,
sounds kind of cool.
yeah. Apparently, it was just in development hell for like 10 years, and it went through. It was originally going to be a PlayStation game. Then it became a GameCube game, and then Microsoft said, "Just make it for Xbox, guys."
One of the rare like Xbox titles that are exclusives.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there are plans for a trilogy, but apparently plans for an eventual trilogy were canceled because of the damage inflicted by the lawsuit from using Unreal Engine without permission,
How do you do
al-
that? Like,
along with
someone knew.
Silicon Knights filing for bankruptcy in May 2014. Damn. Oh, these
There
are
must have been some malpractice going on there with like
yeah.
someone had to have known. They think they were gonna get away with like the most
I have
devious
no idea.
lick of all time. Do kids say
Apparently,
that anymore? My hip.
these guys made they made Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes and X-Men Destiny.
Oh, oh wow. Okay, that's a track record.
Yeah.
That is. Oof. Um. Yeah. Yikes.
Oh man,
So
I remember I was really excited for X-Men Destiny, then I heard it was shit, so I just didn't buy it.
you really had an unfortunate childhood because you
Yeah.
enjoyed superheroes at that age, and every game they were pumping out was just bad,
Yeah.
except Spider-Man 2 on like PS2. Just every game was just
Oh my
hot garbage.
god. Apparently because of the apparently because of the Epic Games lawsuit, both X-Men Destiny and Q Human had all of their unsold copies destroyed.
So
Oh
are
my
you saying
god.
Epic Games has always been like epic? They've always been cool.
You just can't buy them anymore.
Amazing. Just oh my god.
It's
Maybe they can make a
insane.
comeback and make it like remaster it and make it Epic exclusive. Get their
May-
revenge.
Mayhaps.
My game is going to be an example of a unique bad camera sort of for a game.
Mhm.
Shows to Croc and the Legend of the Gobos or whatever on PS1. I recently actually played this on the Steam Deck a little bit just for fun. That is a platform game with tank controls, a third-person platform game with tank controls, and it honestly isn't that bad, but it's not great. Like it really does not benefit from having tank controls.
Mhm.
It feels pretty like it feels unique and actually is kind of interesting. It makes the platforming a little more challenging, but it do feel kind of gross and bad. And then the
Mhm.
sequel like doesn't have tank controls, but it has weird like the sequel is like worse somehow. Like I don't understand whatever. Just a croc, weird
All
game.
right. I'm looking at Two Human gameplay. Yeah, this looked nothing like I remember it did.
Maybe you're just thinking of a completely different game.
No, I'm 100% sure it's this game. It's just the camera doesn't look like what I thought it did.
Truly, you are too human.
The combat still looks cool though, especially for the time. I remember you used the right analog stick to like dash around with your weapon,
Hmm.
which was kind of
In
cool.
God in God of War, you use the right analog stick to dodge, which I think is actually kind of it's when you don't have camera control. I mean, it's actually kind of nice to be able to dodge in any direction, but
Hmm.
I kind of like camera better than that.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
this actually just looks like the environments just look like Halo, like legitimately.
Hmm.
Like there's this fight on this like bridge that's like a little snowy with in like this big gray bridge with some like technology on it. It looks exactly like something from Halo 1.
Hmm. I never really played it. I've never owned, and I still have never owned an Xbox like a Microsoft console.
Oh god,
I am a through and through Sony Nintendo PC guy.
they use all these stock sound effects for the swords, and I recognize them because they sound exactly like some Dota characters with their like default melee attacks. It's actually really funny.
Oh man. Oh, you know what game has like the best like stock sound slash just sound effects?
What?
Half-Life 2 just has like the best, just like hitting metal sound effect and like you're
Oh
recharging
yeah,
your suit and just breaking thing. It's just so
yeah.
good.
Valve is great with those.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Valve loves their stock sound effects.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to another question. Do you have anything that piques your interest from our list of questions
Um,
in
let's
this world
see.
of so many gamerific quandaries? How could you
Um,
pick?
okay, here's one. Hey, podcast hosts. What are some games that made an impact on the way video game stories can be told today, and how did they do it? Um,
Make sure to delete the question post asking it too, so we don't ask them multiple times.
yep.
Um, what games had an impact on storytelling? I mean, Metal Gear Solid One, I think,
Mm-hmm.
is a that game. Well, also a lot of I think the PlayStation One in general was a kind of a crazy time for storytelling in games because you had like Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear 1, just like these way more ambitious, longer stories. Um, Also, they're full of weird Japanese weirdness too.
Mhm.
So I do think I do think nowadays a game like a God of War and like I haven't played Last of Us, but I think that game is very story based. But
Yeah.
the modern Sony game, the modern Sony AAA game is basically like a playable movie.
Mhm.
They even have like the Marvel like intro at the beginning where they show like clips from their games. Um, those are very cinematic. Like I was actually very
Yeah.
engaged with the story for God of War. I thought it was very interesting. And Spider-Man, I meant too, just feels like you're playing, like a movie or a show.
Yeah.
But I think Sony has always had the Sony first, like the Sony AAA exclusive games have always kind of had that narrative to them a little bit. If you're looking at those, but yeah, I don't know. Like I've never had nostalgia for Final Fantasy VII, and I'm playing it like the original, and I'm like, man, yeah, this goes hard. Like this still holds up. It's. I mean, again, maybe these older games might not have the greatest narrative in the entire world, but it's still
Mhm.
like engaging and interesting. So,
Yeah.
what about you? What game do you think was a
Um.
big moment? I guess it could even be personal. I guess to you.
Well, I'm gonna be a normie. Telltale's Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
huge.
I think one of the big things that I think it really changes the idea of like branching storylines. Not
Hmm.
lots of AAA games still don't use it very much because they're actually really hard to write. But there's a whole like I guess subgenre of narrative games that use that a lot. I think it opened the way for lots of really interesting methods of storytelling and also some really interesting gameplay as well because it's like different decisions. Like there are some games where your decisions change how like what moves a boss will use, like stuff like that.
Oh wow. Um, I know Mass Effect and those. I have not played. I mean, BioWare and their games. They plenty
Hmm.
of multiple choice. I've yet to play any of the classic BioWare games, except yeah, like I would. I'm gonna eventually play all the Mass Effect games, but not yet. I'm trying to look through my wish list right now on Steam because there's a game. I think we're gonna see a lot more branching path games with the rise of these large language models. And they're gonna be all these kind of like not randomly like procedurally generated. You're gonna be talking to like an LLM thing. There's a game that they announced. It's a Sims like game. I'm looking through my ridiculous list of stupid games that are all bad. To find it. Oh, Life by You. It is a game that is like a Sims like, but it uses the LLM, and it comes out in 2 months. That's going to be a get ready to see that everywhere. By the way, that is going to be a big stream game for like a couple weeks. It's going to be memed to all hell.
Hmm.
That's going to be a massive meme stream game.
Yeah.
But I am actually pretty excited about that, and I think I'll try to give it a shot.
Hmm.
But but yeah, man, that's I think that'll be the next cool thing in games for a while is uh the stuff you can do with some of this random, this new generative media and text and whatnot. So exciting. I'm sure like we're gonna get like 100 bad games at first, and then like one good game eventually that uses it.
Man.
Probably some really cool horror games that use it too. Let me.
I just
Yeah.
randomly I just randomly started thinking of Spider-Man Web of Shadows,
Hmm.
and when I looked at my recommended videos off of the two human gameplay I looked up, there was a Web of Shadows video in there, and I was like, wow, that's really scary. It's
They
like
know.
man.
Do you think other people who played the games that you played, like if you played like Web of Shadows and blah blah, like they had a similar upbringing in terms of like if they liked that or played that, then they're like, oh man, I like X type of game, so they played all these weird games. Like I kind of feel like that a little bit with like I played Boktai, the weird solar panel GBA game, which kind of
Mhm.
led me into that Megaman.exe/Battle Network world, and some of these other like it almost kind of led to like Patapon and these other. I don't know. There's kind of like a through line of like weird Japanese experimental games, sort of,
Mhm.
um, and they're all kind of connected in a way. It's like
Yeah.
a Strand type game, like Death Stranding.
A strand type game.
Yeah, I think I'm getting heat stroke from my room because there's no
A strand
ventilation.
like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Death Stranding 2 is on the horizon at some point.
Yeah.
Cool. The game was good.
Mhm.
It's a little long in the tooth, not gonna lie, but it was good. Do you want me to ask you one more question?
Sure.
One more question. We'll call it a day. Let's see. I had a good one that I was gonna read, but let's. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna make my own question up because I misread a question. Do you have any like nostalgic or maybe like bad experiences from like video game stores? Like in like, do you have any memories
Hmm.
of? It could be good or bad of just going to like a brick and mortar store and like actually doing something.
Oh well, I never went to like any fancy non GameStop video game stores really, but I do
Hmm.
remember our closest GameStop. There used to be these two guys that worked there, and whenever I would have a like broken disc or something, they would just give me a replacement for free, and then
Okay, sorry.
I'm pretty sure they got fired.
Before you continue, I gotta cut you off. How many discs were you going through, and how are you breaking so many? I've never broken a disc
Um,
in my life.
so on Xbox 360, if you accidentally moved the Xbox while the disc was in, it always got scratched.
Oh,
So
Xbox
yeah,
problems.
yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they got their boss found out they were doing that and they just got fired. And I went there
Yeah.
one day and I was like, I there was like somebody at the cash register. There was neither of them, and I asked I asked them if I could just replace them. They said, "Well, you're gonna have to pay for that." And I'm like, "What?"
Honestly, they were probably also just stealing, like, from the store. It probably
Yeah,
wasn't even
probably.
that thing that was getting you, like, that got them fired. They probably were just stealing so many games, or just, like,
Yeah.
breaking the seal and playing games early and doing nonsense. Oh, man. Uh, did you ever go to any, like, midnight launches?
No, I don't think so. My parents would never let me do that kind of stuff.
I at one point in time, I did a couple of them, but it was for, like, Call of Duty was one of the things, and it was
Oh
like,
no.
let's go to the midnight launch. And it was stupid, right? Is usually they would be like on a school night or something anyway. Let's go.
Hmm.
Like my dad took me to a midnight launch. I think it's just to like do something. And I think I went to maybe like one, like maybe like three or four, probably less than three of them. And it was like kind of neat, midnight launch, whatever. You don't go home and like play the game. You go to bed and like you don't even
Yeah.
play it the next day. So it's like kind of stupid, but it was just kind of neat to get it, whatever, when I actually cared. Then one time I went to go get a Call of Duty game at like a midnight launch, and it was before midnight, and there was just a line of people outside, just like in like ghillie suits and wearing
Oh yeah.
cosplaying and stuff. And I'm like, I just had a moment of clarity, being like, why am I even gonna get? Let's just go home. Like, this is a waste of time. Like, I'm not even gonna play. Like, I literally was like, I'll just. It's Call of Duty. They're not gonna sell out. I'll just get it Friday or something on the weekend. Like, why would I care? Like, I don't care. Um, I
Yeah.
will say though, the most recent thing I had to do like that wasn't midnight launch, but to get the Nintendo Switch, I didn't get it like day one. I got it a couple weeks later. Pretty
Hmm.
early though, but I had to go like find a place, wait in line, get a ticket. I was new to driving at the time, so I like plowed through an intersection basically like on by like accident. Like I went on like a stop and then like turned wrong and like probably caused like traffic issues. But I got in line and I got that Switch. So
Hmm.
yeah. Oh man. I don't honestly, I can safely say I'm kind of all digital now. I really don't care about it's just stuff. I have too much stuff already. I don't need more
Yeah.
cases and things.
Yeah.
Um
So. I think my thing with launches is like if they still were as big today, and if I wasn't a PC gamer, maybe I'd go to a few because like I'd actually I actually might stay up to play it after, and it might be cool. But um,
You could say to update
nowadays,
it.
yeah, I oh god, yeah, the download. It, it's crazy because I think back and like I don't have any of the midnight launcher memories, but I do remember after school I would like get home and I'd have my parents like take me to GameStop to buy the game, but they wouldn't let me play video games on weekdays. So I just look at the case all week
Oh wow,
until the
yeah.
weekend.
The looking at the case, kids today I don't think really even get this because they can look at the case, but usually they don't have like back in the day. You get the instruction book. You would get a
Oh
game.
yeah,
You would sit in the car on the way home. You'd open it up. You'd look at the instruction book. You'd be so hyped to
yeah.
play
Like
the
reading the
game.
instruction manual for Halo Reach was a different experience.
Yeah, and they used to have like cool art and stuff. It was
Yeah.
such a vibe. But also a big thing about midnight releases, like I said, it's easier just digital download, preload it. Also, when you get a game, you pop it in, you have to do like a day one 400 gigabyte update. So who cares?
Hmm.
Like it's not you don't get the game when you're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the convenience. I rose tinted glasses. It was cool back in the day, but the convenience of digital downloads is so much nicer if you really just want to play a game.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, let's call it a pod for now because I'm gonna go stream. I gotta go eat and stream, and
Pog.
I think this was a good pog cast. So I've been Matt,
Pogcast.
aka Matt Fondude, and who have you been?
I've been James, aka James 04E.
And that's a podcast. Good night, everybody.
GN.